AllReasonNoLogic. Hello everyone, welcome back to AllReasonNoLogic's Beyond All Reason for You. Today we're going to talk about one of the most crucial turning points in Beyond All Reason, and that's transitioning to Tech 2. Timing this right can make all the difference between dominating the battlefield or stalling and struggling to catch up. Doing this transition fast and efficiently will give you the advantage over your rivals, and in this video we are focusing on the transition for a player who is also required to attack or defend on a front line at the same time. So why is the T2 transition so crucial? The T2 units are far superior to the T1s, and it gives you access to better tactical structures, defenses, and enhanced economy options. It's your pathway to advanced gameplay and is a necessary step if you want to stay competitive. But if your T2 transition is too slow or poorly executed, you can fall behind, wasting resources, or you may even lose your army on the front line without the ability to replenish it and miss key opportunities to apply pressure on your opponent. To help highlight what to avoid, let's look at a few common mistakes players make when trying to go T2. Here's an example of what not to do where a player has plus 15 metal and plus 250 energy when making the transition. Their name of course has been hidden, but if you know who you are, we're glad you're here watching. A few big issues stand out here. We have low energy and metal. The metal is completely depleted and we see way too many build turrets drawing resources. Even if the T2 lab was up and running, there is not enough eco available for this many build turrets to utilize. 3 or 4 is more suitable at this stage of the game. The player is still investing in T1 infrastructure as well as that T2 mechs with a donated constructor, and T1 units are still being produced. Essentially, this player is building a T2 bot lab on an economy that can only support T1 production, causing this T2 lab to take what seems like forever in game to build. You end up in a resource sinkhole without any meaningful progress in tech. Furthermore, there is no reclaim going on in either the backline by reclaiming unnecessary structures, in this case because there are none apart from those turrets, and also you should be reclaiming that bot lab. And also on the front line, this player could be reclaiming this commander and these units, which is worth over 1,000 metal. Now, what better way to go through the process of a clean and efficient T2 transition than witness one in real time in a 1 vs 1 game recently played, which also somewhat replicates what it would be like playing a multiplayer lane-based battle based on the resources available in this map. Let's hit pause here. So first things first, we're at the stage of the game where there is sufficient economy and build power to support the building of T2 units. We have 4 construction turrets, 3 or 4 is usually enough. Energy is in the high hundreds, varying based on reclaim and wind power in this map. And metal is in the mid-20s, which is enough to build some of the lighter T2 units at a reasonable rate, like the Sprinters or Hounds for Armada, or the Fiends and Sheldons for the Cortex. Next, we recognise that if we want to make the transition, we're transitioning to a building that costs 2,900 metal if we're going bots. And we really want to have all or most of this when we make the transition. Some of it may come from what you've got in the bank, and then some might be from reclaiming, say, this solar worth 155 metal, or the bot lab worth 650. Or in the case of this map where there was this recent battle, we can select the constructor, quickly hit the unpause, and see that there's 850 metal there available. You could also consider reclaiming some of your units that might not be finding as much value in this stage of the game, such as the pawns in the back of this front line. So we make this transition knowing that we've got most of it in this case, not all of that transition. Ideally, you also want to stop producing T1 units once your front line is secure. This really frees up resources for T2 without leaving you too exposed. And I had paused the T1 factory slightly before I made this transition, which gave me that 500 metal in the bank. Now hitting resume. Construction of this T2 lab took less than 30 seconds, And if you're taking over a minute as a regular occurrence, in my opinion, you should really reconsider proceeding with the transition. Probably better off that you put that metal towards some additional resources. So to all those players who find they eco stall commonly when going T2, this is how it's done as a recommendation. To recap, make sure that you have the build power, make sure you have enough metal available and sufficient energy is coming in, and do not transition whilst building multiple other buildings like you saw earlier in this video. Perhaps it's necessary to keep building some T1 units to defend whilst you've recognized that you must do a T2 transition for whatever reason, but make sure you have the eco there to support it, otherwise you'll just be sitting there doing nothing essentially. And that is it. We hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you would like to see the end result of this particular match, jump over to AllReasonNoLogic's 1 vs 1 battle series. It's seen in episode 34. We hope to see you in the future. Please like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thank you.